all y'all. It's currently 9 p.m. Sun has set. Poker Clayton has arisen. We're here at 52, but it's not 52 anymore. It's Poker Johnny Chan's 88 Social. So name change. I'm not sure if they changed anything on the inside. My buddy's actually playing right now. He said that the chips have changed. So hopefully they look cooler than the last ones. Yeah, it's a busy night here. Apparently there's a concert going on too. Plus it's a Friday night, so like there's a bunch of spots taken up from ballet. A lot of action tonight, definitely. So yeah, see y'all inside. Let's get to it.
So I actually played and recorded a session in between my last video and this one, but it was very slow because it was a new table they opened. So stacks were short and action was few and far in between. I hovered around plus 200 to minus 200 for almost 2 hours. No really notable hands or anything I feel is worthy for a video. But then I changed tables to a fairly deep action heavy table, and I ended up on the river with runner top 2 pair, jack 10, and a 3-way 3-bet pot. I had about 600 left and the pot was at about 1,000, so I just jammed river and ended up getting a call and we were good. We only played for 2.5 hours and profited about $1,000, and this is what I mean by it's not about the money for me. It's about the quality of my play and the game. I profited $1,000 this night, and that's one of the biggest cashes you're going to see on my channel yet, but I just didn't see how I can make a good video out of it, so I just decided we'll record the next one. So here we are. Hope y'all enjoy.
This is what the new outside looks like.
I walk inside, and I'm just overtaken by the commotion. The room is filled wall to wall. The entire place is enveloped in some sort of haze. Every 5 seconds, someone from the PLO tables is screaming, and workers are rushing frantically to get chips for players. I sit down at a 1-3 table for 1,020, and first hand we play is ace-5 offsuit. We're in the cutoff, and there's a button straddle. 3 calls to me, and I decide to just call here, and the button checks his option. 5-way to a flop of ace of spades, 5 of spades, 6 of clubs. Checks to me, and I bet pot for $36. Folds to the hijack who calls. We're now heads up to a turn, which is the king of clubs, and he checks to me. There's now two flush draws out there and 2 potential straight draws. The villain only has about 100 and 110 left, so I decide now is the time to get the money in. I jam all in, partly for value, but mainly for my disdain for short stacks who try to just take pot shots. He tanks for a bit, then he stacks his chips and pushes them into the middle for a call. I ask him if he wants to do anything. He says twice and I oblige. First run out is a brick king of diamonds, and second is an 8 of hearts. He says we're good and shows other players what I assume to be a combo draw and mucks, and we take down 200 in profit on our first hand. Off to a pretty good start. Our stack is now at 1,200 as we see ace deuce of clubs and under the gun plus 2. I open a 20 and only the big blind calls. He's a middle-aged man with about $250 in front of him. We're heads up to a flop of 9 of spades, king of hearts, 8 of diamonds. He checks, and with ace high and no backdoors, I see bet 15 here. Starting out with a small bet in the spot on a draw heavy board will allow me to control the flow of this hand. I don't have a plan yet, but I'm in position and I'm the original aggressor, so I decided to just take the opportunities as they come. After I bet 15, he asks out loud, 15? And I said, yeah, only 15. And he leans back like this and kind of just tosses the chips in there. We go to a turn, which is the 3 of hearts, and he checks it again. Now, normally a king would bet this turn, and if I'm going to try to rep one, I should probably start to up the sizing now. But with the connected nature of the board and his passiveness combined with his actions when he called the 15, I figure ace high is good, and I expect to check it back here and see another check from him on the river, unless any of the cards like a 7, 10, queen, or jack come in which case, if I see a bet, I'll fold. I check it back, and river is a 9 of hearts, pairing second pair, and he leads here for 45. Now, this is very, very similar to a spot I was in my third vlog, where I bet small on turn with third pair on a draw heavy board to induce mistakes on the river for my opponent, and then the second pair, which was a 9, paired on the river and opponent let out. I ended up making the call, and he had trips. But the difference in that hand compared to this hand was that one was a 3-bet, 3-way pot, and this one was a single raise heads up pot. But the thought process I have in this spot still plays the same. I thought my ace high was good the whole way, and with a tiny bet on the flop, and then a check back on the turn, it could have looked like I gave up to him. Plus the 9 is a perfect card for him to represent. He bet 45 into 70, which I could see him do with a 9, but since I've represented such a weak hand as well, I'd expect a value bet from this type of player to be more around half pot. All things considered, I put out the call with ace high, and he says... He then shows queen jack of diamonds, and I show ace high. There's just nothing more satisfying in poker than making ace high calls and being right. I get a bunch of good calls from the table, and we move on to the next one. We then find ourselves in a bomb pot with ace king of hearts. We're 7 weights, 2 boards. First one is 10 of hearts, 8 of diamonds, king of spades. And the other one is 3 of diamonds, jack of hearts, queen of clubs. We flop pretty damn good here, as we have a lot of equity on both boards. Player leads for 25 here, and I just call, and 2 others call as well. We're 4 away to a turn, which is a 7 of spades on top and a 9 of diamonds on bottom. We don't pick up any equity, and the original better from the flop barrels for 75. I still too strong of a hand yet with top pair, with top and a draw to the nuts, so I call, and the player to my left folds. And the small blind check raises all in for $45 more, and we both call. 3 weights to river with the player already all in. Top board is a 5 of diamonds, and bottom is a 4 of spades. Now we only have 1 pair on one board and ace high on the other. Best I can do is chop the pot, but the villain bets 50 and there's no side pot, so not really a reason for him to bet aside from value. But the main pot is too big to fold to 50 on the river, so I call, and he shows 9-10 for a pair on both boards. We chop the side, then the other player who's all in shows jack 3 for a 2 pair on the bottom, and we end up chopping that pot too. Next hand we get tangled up with is ace deuce off in the cutoff again. The button straddled and 3 players call. I call as well, and the button checks his option. We're 5 ways to a flop that comes out ace deuce 5 2 hearts. Checks to me and I bet 30. Button calls and everyone else folds. The button is one of the 2 players I deem capable at the table, and we're out of position against him here. His turn is a queen of clubs, and I bet 65. He then raises me to $170, and I go into the tank. This almost exact configuration played out in my first hand, where he straddled and we were in the cutoff, and we limped a weak ace in a 5-way pot, and flopped 2 pair, and led on flop. Here we're in the cutoff again, and he straddled and we limped in a 5-way pot and led on flop to basically the same board. You know, an ace, 2 low cards, and a flush draw. Same boards. So I know he saw that hand, and given that that is some of the only info he has on me, I'd expect him to be targeting that range for value against me rather than a semi-bluff more often. He has about 215 left, and if I call here, pot will be at 430, and he will have about 215 behind, making it hard to fold on the river if any draw does come in, and also losing a max to the hands that beat me. I'm not beating any hands that are doing this for value, so now the question is, what value hands can he have? Since he checked his option, we can roll aces obviously and ace queen, but really everything else that I'm beat by is still in there. 3-4, ace 5, 5s, and deuces are all still in there and would probably take this exact line. So the next question is, can he ever be value owning himself with the worst value hand? And other than deuce 5, I don't see him value betting anything worse than ace deuce. So the answer is no. So if I'm losing to all the value hands he's betting and we're out of position against a competent, tight, aggressive player, I think it's okay to fold here and just choose better spots than players to take money from. I show ace deuce to the table and I muck. I didn't get any extra info from him, so no way to tell if it was a good fold or not, but nonetheless, we only lose 100 on that hand and possibly saved ourselves from losing over 300 more. We take a break for a second and enjoy our chicken fried rice and some good old Vietnamese coffee. So for this one, I don't know what came over me, but I looked at my hand, which was 5-7 offsuit, and then at my position, which was under the gun, and I just decided I'm getting to showdown with this hand. So I open a 20, and I get 3 callers. Flop comes out queen 9-3-2 spades, and I see bet $65. Folds to the button who calls. He's a deep stacked competent player. Turn is a 6 of hearts, and I could barrel right here, but the flop is very draw heavy, so I feel like I can just check it here, and the majority of his hands will check it back. So I check, and he checks it back. River is a 10 of clubs, bringing in a lot of second pairs like 8-10, king 10, jack 10, but that doesn't deter me, and I can't win with 7 high. So I lead on the river for $130, and he snap folds. We profit $130 by growing some balls out of nowhere. If you want to follow along with my sessions and what I got going on, you can follow me on Instagram, or you can add me on Snapchat, where I'll be posting live updates to my sessions. If you've liked what you've seen so far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It lets me know you are enjoying the content, and if you're not, leave a dislike and let me know what's wrong. Let's keep going. 2 hands later, we're in the small blind with ace jack of hearts. Under the gun +1 opens to 15 and 2 players call. I 3-bet to 65. The original aggressor folds and under the gun +2 calls. Low jack folds and we go heads up to a flop of 8 of diamonds, 6 of hearts, ace of spades. I check to him here because when I 3-bet out of the blinds into multiple opponents and then check an ace high flop, it can easily be read as I have some sort of pocket pair that hates the ace. By checking, I allow myself to get value from a wider range of hands than I would just betting this flop. Plus, I'm able to trap worse ace-x hands by pricing them in. He takes the bait and bets $65. He only has about 175 behind after the bet, so I just jam all in. If he has me beat, he has me beat, but it'll be only 175 for him to win almost 650. So like I said, for that price, I can get a lot of worse hands to get it in. He's not happy with my jam, but he shrugs his shoulders and puts his chips in the middle. We agree to run it twice. I show ace jack and he doesn't show his cards yet. First run out is deuce of spades, 4 of spades, and second is 6 of hearts, or 6 of clubs, 5 of hearts. He shows an ace and mucks the other card, and we scoop a solid pot here. A few hands later, we look down at pocket kings in the cutoff. There's an under the gun straddle and 3 calls to me. Too many people in this pot for my comfort, so I raise to $50 and only under the gun calls. We go heads up to a flop of king jack 3 rainbow. He checks to me and we flop top set. We pretty much have the board covered here. The villain had about 175 going to the flop, so against the stack size and in position, I want to let him pick up equity so I can try to get stacks in. If I'm against a deep stacked opponent here in position, I would almost 100% bet here. But like I said, the stack to pot ratio for his stack is about 1.5 to 1, so I can get all the money in on future streets and allow him to pick up some more equity. Turn is a 8 of clubs, bringing in some more possible draws, and he checks it to me. Time to start milking him. I bet $45 here and he calls. We go to a river, which is another jack. Just the card I wanted to see. He checks it to me and we've set this up perfectly. If he does have a jack, he will have to call here given his SPR. So I jam my nuts in his... I jam with the nuts and he ends up folding. It's getting kind of late and I work a double tomorrow, so I rack up and head to the cage.
So we cashed for about $15.50, so about $530 in profit. We're on a hot streak right now. We just cashed out $1,100 from last session, so then I won like $1,000 online. So we're doing pretty good right now. Yeah, table was pretty easy, pretty ABC. The only player I was having trouble against was the player to my left, which sucks. I should have probably moved seats at one point. Yeah, like really one of the only 2 other capable players there were to my left. So when it comes to like game selection and like seat selection, probably next time I should choose more wisely to be to the left of them so I can have position on them. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I just got 3-bet by him twice, decided to battle one time and just had a fold on the flop. I mean, so nothing terrible. It's just like I could be in position against him. I could be 3-betting him. So that's something I need to look out for in the future. Yeah, had a good time tonight. I like the chips a little bit better. They're a little bit flashier. It feels a little cooler. Yeah, that's all I got for y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Be easy.